sneaky, sneaky. I've got my shades on and my hoodie because I feel like crap. I haven't showered basically all week. That's not true. I have showered, but not every day. And I'm smelling pretty rough right now. I'm glad that we have this barrier between us here. I rue the day when they released the smell-o-vision technology onto the market. It's not going to be a fun day. Speaking of fun days, let's get into this past work week and how badly it sucked for me. Just can't have an easy one. Highlights include eating too much capsaicin and having to take a day off because my stomach felt like it was a volcano, and the very last hour of the work week turning into the most annoying hour possible. It was uncanny. It was like there was nothing that couldn't go wrong. The only thing that didn't happen was it didn't start somehow raining inside. That would be like the icing on the cake. That would have been the only thing that could have happened to make things worse. So it goes like this. On Tuesday, I got home and I was very excited because, my day revolves around slaving at a factory and then coming back to this hotel room where I live so I can eat something tasty. And I was on the eat something tasty side of the hill. And so I was very excited. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll put all my peppers into my food that I prepped over the weekend. So I've got like habaneros, I've got serranos, and now I got Carolina Reapers in there. And I might have overloaded it a little bit with the peppers. I also have other spicy things in there, and this stuff marinates over time because I prep it all on the weekend, usually on Saturday or Sunday. And so every day that it's sitting in this little sandwich bags, it's getting spicier and spicier because there's lemon pepper in there, there's lemon juice, there's apple cider vinegar. All these acidities are mixing together, having their little exothermic reactions and making things exponentially spicier as the time goes on. So we're only on day 2. It was just a regular Tuesday for me, just another Tuesday. And I put that in the microwave. I nuke it for about 8 minutes to get rid of all the botulism. I sat down, I'm watching some stuff on YouTube, and I'm eating. I'm starting to really feel it, and it gets to this point where I'm looking at this bowl of food, and it is knocking me back. It is ugly. It is turning in. I feel like I'm fighting Mike Tyson in his prime here. Like, it is turning into an all-out slugfest between my sheer will to complete something, and the Scoville level of this food that I'm looking at. It was retarded. And I swear my eyes started to turn blue because this was like straight spice melange. I was like, I've got to finish it. I don't know why I put myself through this, but I was just like, I've got to finish this. I can't take an L here. I gotta win. So I wound up eating everything, and I got real emotional too. It was an emotional experience. Like, I was having flashbacks. I was like, you bastards, you're all gonna pay. As soon as I finish this bowl of super spicy ramen, I'm coming for you next. I'm gonna figure out what happened to JFK. You better believe it. So yeah, I finished the bowl of ramen, and then I went and took a shower and cried for about 2 hours. And I texted my boss, and I was like, I cannot walk or run 8 motherfucking miles on top of what I just did, and consider the fact that I only get about 4 hours of sleep a night, if I'm lucky, during the week, because the guy above me likes to start river dancing around midnight. There's a little girl down the hallway that will just scream pretty much from sundown to sunup at random intervals. It doesn't sound like she's in pain. She's been doing this for the past like 3 months. I'm not quite sure what it's about, but you know, I mean, I'm not the only person living here, so I just kind of figured different strokes for different folks. So yeah, I don't get much sleep, and I had a belly full of volcano, like liquid hot magma that was due to erupt in a few hours, and I was not about to be caught short walking 8 miles to work, because that's happened before, you know, and I just pop a squat in the woods somewhere and do my business and keep going, but not at this level of spiciness. It was like, it was hurting my entire esophagus. It wasn't just my stomach. It was like everything inside of me was on fire. I woke up later, a few hours later. My boss gave me the day off on Wednesday, and he was like, just, you know, call in so you don't get pointed. And I did, and I woke up and I peed. I swear, dude, I peed liquid hot magma. It was like all the capsaicin came out in my piss, and I was like, so this is what it feels like to have syphilis. This is what a UTI feels like. It was nice to just be visiting in that particular hurt locker. It's not something that I have to deal with on a regular basis. Because I mean, I'm not gonna do that again. I'm not gonna put any more of these Carolina Reapers that I continuously buy into my food again. I wouldn't do something that dumb. So yeah, let's flash forwards to the last hour of the work week. Last hour on Friday was when everything decided to go wrong all at once. My skull candies, I have wired skull candies because I don't like Bluetooth technology. I don't like I don't really like how Bluetooth technology is pushed, how certain technologies are pushed. It's almost like it's almost like they're forcing technological discontinuity where it doesn't naturally happen. You know, I mean, Bluetooth is great. I'm glad we have it, and it, you know, works for what it works for. But it's not like you have to make absolutely every pair of earbuds Bluetooth. It's not like wired earbuds suddenly just went on strike and stopped working or something like that. I particularly like wired earbuds. I like plugging, you know, things into the AC outlets, the AC adapters in the walls. I don't feel like everything should be plugged into a fucking USB port. You know, it doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel right. So I get these skull candies, and they're definitely made with planned obsolescence in mind, and that was coming into effect because one of the wires, the one that goes to the right ear, just stops working. Notice this on the other pairs I've had. The right earbud will stop. The left earbud will continue to work, but if you like move your body in a certain way, then you can get the right earbud to start working again. So the last hour, I was at the worst, one of the worst stations. It was, you know, and the line was not being nice. It was being at least 3 or 4% evil. And I'm doing all this weird fucking jacking my body and twisting myself into a pretzel and everything to get the fucking music to signal into my right earbud. And all while I'm doing this, I have to poop. It's not like really bad, but it's bad enough to where like I don't want to do this after work during the shift change, because then there's no guarantee I'll get a stall because there's only 3 stalls in the bathroom, and like everybody hangs out in there, and it's kind of awkward. I don't want to go in there and stink the place up. So I did my work. I got through the hard part of my work to the point where it was like the last 30 minutes or so of the day. It's not that big of a deal work-wise. You know, I haven't taken a bathroom break all day. Usually we get 2. And so I phoned a friend and I was like, I need to go to the bathroom, cover this spot for me. And Big Mama came over, my supervisor, and she was like, go ahead, I got you. And I was like, thanks, Big Mama. I go to the bathroom, I'm in there, doing my thing, and then all of a sudden, like, I time myself, by the way, like, I haven't been in there for more than 10 minutes. All of a sudden, I hear somebody, they're like, yo, TJ, you in there? And, I'm in there. I'm in there. Like skincare, bro. Like, I'm in there. I'm wiping my ass. Like, I don't want to have to, like, start talking to some guy while I'm doing that. It's always super awkward when they do that. They, like, like, I'm a 37-year-old motherfucking person. Like, at this point in the game, you don't really want somebody breathing down your back when you're trying to wipe your ass, and it's like a fucking marker back there. So I didn't say anything at first, and then I hear the guy say, like, I don't think he's in here. I didn't hear him respond, and like, I'm like, this is fucking stupid. Like, I haven't been in here for more than 10 minutes. You guys are on me like shit, like flies on shit, and while I'm shitting. And I've noticed that you let other people go to the bathroom for like 30, 45 minutes, and you never send a rescue squad after them. What is it? Why me? I mean, I can't help but think, is it because I'm the only white guy on the floor? Like, why do I get treated so poorly at this place? Why is it like everyone focuses so much on me that it's to the point of ridiculousness? I literally, this past week, I watched this Hispanic girl, this Latino girl. She went to the bathroom, and she was gone for almost an entire hour. And nobody went after her. And then she came back at her leisure and resumed working, and nobody said anything to her. But if it's me and I go to the bathroom, they come in looking for me with like thinking, what, I ran off? I ran away? Like, what? I don't appreciate it. So, motherfucking get done with my shit, and I get up, and I'm leaving, and wouldn't you know it, the person who was sent in to extract me from my duty, my call of duty, was the weird supervisor, the one that always kind of makes me feel like he wants to fuck me in some kind of unwholesome way. And he is standing there, and he is like really weird, as per usual, and he's like looking at me, and he's like, you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm good, I'm fine, how are you? Like, what do you want me to like, how do you want me to respond in this situation? Is it normal for you to have some random guy come and want to check up on you every time you take a fucking crap? Like, is that something that you would be okay with personally? If this in this situation, if the roles were reversed, how would you be feeling about all of these factors? You know, I mean, I feel like this guy just fucking, he's got it in for me. And this is a weekly thing. It's almost a daily thing with him. And I am fucking sick of this bullshit. I am fucking sick of his bullshit. I didn't get his phone number yet. I wound up getting my other supervisor, Big Mama, I wound up getting her phone number so that, you know, if things go any one way or the other again, you know, like I can communicate with her. I am going to get this weird dude's phone number though, because he's also a supervisor. And what I did was I talked to my main supervisor, who's above everybody, and I ran this idea past him first. I was like, is it cool with you that I go and I get these other two supervisors' phone numbers in case of emergency or in case of, you know, you don't know where I am or we need to communicate? And he was like, yeah, sure, that sounds like a good idea. You go ahead and do that. So I've got that go ahead. I've got that green light to do that. I got Big Mama's phone number. And it was weird because whenever I was getting her number, I had to wait till after my shift. And I'm waiting for the supervisors to get out of, you know, the little area where all the work happens. I'm waiting on the other side of these double doors. And she comes through, and I said, excuse me. You know, I was like, do you mind if I get your number? Just so that we can communicate in case of emergencies and stuff. She was like, yeah, okay. And she gave me her number, and I, you know, texted her what my number was. And this whole time, this dude, a completely different dude, who I noticed he does maintenance work or something. He like stopped mid-stride in whatever he was doing at that moment, and like watched us. And he was leaning up against the wall, and he was like covering for her or protecting her from me or something. And after our exchange of numbers, he like turned and he was like, "Are you okay?" Like he like asked her if she was okay after having given me her phone number. Like maybe I'm a little paranoid at that. I don't know. Maybe it's just being a little paranoid. I can't help it because of the way that I'm treated at this place. I'm treated fucking horribly there. Really, I am. And, you know, I've talked to people who have worked there in the past. People who are usually my Uber drivers sometimes while I'm on the way to work there. And they've told me, man, that place is horrible. They're like, that place is super racist. That place is super sexist. That place is really bad with a lot of things. There are a lot of bad things about that place. You know, it's not just me. I'm not just making this up and, you know, like I'm bitching about it or something. I mean, this is a collective opinion about this place that I work at. But, you know, right now I have nothing else going for me. I have to keep working there, and I want to keep working there. At least I want to put at least 5 years in there. I've got 1.5 years in so far. You know, I want to do another 3.5 years, and I will. You know, I'm doing this the right way. I'm doing things the right way. I'm not rocking the boat or rustling any jimmies. I'm just complaining here, and I'm trying to make my complaints as vague as possible. So that way, in the completely ridiculously minuscule chance of anybody coming across these vlog entries, the details would be so obscure that nobody would actually be able to point a finger and say, "Oh, I know who he means or what he's saying." No, you don't. I mean, there's no legal recourse. There's no possibility for any legal recourse at this particular moment. I'm not really looking in that direction. I'm just using these vlog entries as a sort of therapy, personal therapy, just to kind of get through my days, get through my weeks. On top of everything, on top of all this, I am looking at possibly getting a room, becoming roommates. And they were roommates. So I've been talking to people on roomies.com, been putting my feelers out there. If I can maybe get into a lease agreement with somebody, I'd be able to save money. I'm looking at a lot of these rooms are like only like 800, 790 a month versus the 12 that I spend to live here in this hotel, which, you know, I mean, I've said this hotel is a step up from what I've been through, but I mean, it's got its pros and cons. You know, I mean, the guy above me fucking starts river dancing every fucking day at like midnight. So if I was able to get into a lease agreement with somebody, live with somebody, maybe it would come with a certain lack of privacy. Maybe I wouldn't be able to walk around naked so much anymore. But at the same time, maybe I wouldn't have somebody river dancing over my head at, you know, the stroke of midnight every single fucking day of the week. Maybe I wouldn't have to listen to some random kid scream down the hallway for like 8 hours straight. You know? It's all about give and take. You have to weigh and measure things. And I gotta look to where the money is. You know, it's ultimately cheaper to be in a lease agreement with somebody. And I think that would look better on the long run. Because when you tell people that you live at a hotel, it's kind of sketchy. They kind of look at you in a sketchy kind of way. You know, you can say, oh, yeah, the housing crisis in this country is out of control. But at the same time, if you say, oh, I'm roommates with somebody, oh, I've been roommates with somebody, that kind of gives you a little bit of a character, you know, credential. Lets people know that you can live with people, that you've been living with people, which is a good thing. I think that I'm ready to kind of go back into a roommate kind of situation, especially if the room is a lot better than what it was for me back at the turning point at the halfway house that I was at. The halfway house was pretty rough. I mean, we were sharing a room that was literally no bigger than this, you know. Sorry, my bed's not made, but it was a double twin beds or whatever, or 2 single beds or something. But still, I mean, the room was really no much bigger than this, single bathroom. You know, and a lot of these posts on roommates.com, we would wind up sharing a bathroom. Not always, not all of them are like that, but I don't mind sharing a bathroom, especially if I have my own fucking private room. You know, paying only $800 a month, I'll be able to save like $400. I pay 12 to live here. I pay fucking 12 to live here. It's a lot. Anyways, that's all I got. So stay classy and keep your social distance.